Hey guys, Fletch Football Observer here, and today's video is going to be another Premier League preview show, previewing Game 12 of the season. I am back after a week's absence, and this upcoming round of fixtures throws up some very intriguing and some very big encounters. So without further ado, let's get into the previews and predictions. We're going to begin with arguably the biggest game of this round of fixtures, and we're jumping ahead to the game that will round off this upcoming weekend of Premier League fixtures before we jump into the international break, as we are at Anfield for a top of the table clash between league leaders Liverpool and second place Manchester City. Liverpool still remain unbeaten this season and are still 6 points clear of City, but they did need a last gasp Sadio Mane goal to beat Aston Villa 2-1 last time out, while City were also 2-1 winners in their own game, defeating Southampton respectively. Will Liverpool extend their lead to 9 points over City, or will City close the gap on the Reds to 3 points and deliver them their first loss of the season to them here? It's a huge game for both clubs, and of course it's a very intriguing one at that. The setting of Anfield will mean that the Reds go into this one as favourites, but the game could seriously go any which way. Liverpool are on an incredible home run right now, and we've seen in the past that Guardiola likes to change his tactics for this particular game. You only have to see last season's 0-0 draw as evidence of that. But this time round it's a little bit different, because this is a real opportunity for City to close the gap on Jurgen Klopp's side, and they, along with the fans, will be expecting a win here. As for my prediction, neither side has looked the watertight defensive structure we've come accustomed to seeing of last season, and if that happens here, which I'm possibly expecting to happen, we could see a very open and entertaining end-to-end game full of goals. I'm going to predict a 3-2 Liverpool win. I'm just giving the Reds the edge here just because that they're at home, and they've also managed to find a way to get the job done so far this season when it matters. Our next game takes us to the Saturday evening fixture, where Leicester entertain Arsenal at the King Power Stadium. High-flying Leicester are up to third so far this season with the help of their latest result, which was a 2-0 victory over Crystal Palace last Sunday, whilst Arsenal threw away another lead last time out following a 1-1 draw with Wolves on Saturday. Will Leicester heap more pressure onto Arsenal and Unai Emery, or will the Gunners halt Leicester's rise and defeat the Foxes here? It's a big game for Arsenal, this one. It's a real test for them here against the Leicester side, who are full of confidence and are on the rise. However, if Leicester do win here, it's a huge statement going forward for them of their top four intentions, and they can deliver a bit of a blow to a possibly fellow rival for them particular spots in the process. In my opinion, the Foxes are in the driving seat for this game. As usual, Arsenal's defence hasn't been convincing, and with the form the likes of James Maddison, Harvey Barnes and Jamie Vardy are in, it could be a long evening for Unai Emery and Arsenal. I'm going to say a 2-1 Leicester win. I can see Arsenal possibly taking a point from this game though, but I'm going to stick with my original prediction, go for a Leicester win, and say that Jamie Vardy will yet again get on the score sheet for the Foxes. Our next game takes us to the Friday night fixture. Yes, yet again we've got another Friday night fixture, so for those fantasy football managers, prepare your team early for the early game on Friday. Anyway, our Friday night's fixture takes us to Carrow Road as Norwich take on Watford in a bottom of the table clash. Both sides come into this one in really poor form. Well, to be honest, that's probably a bit of an understatement, but still. The Canaries are without a win in their last 6 games, whilst the Hornets are still without a win all season. Will Norwich get back to winning ways in this game, or will it be 12th times the charm for Watford? Quite clearly a massive game for both sides. Pressure is on both clubs to get the win here. It's a fixture that may not be easy on the eyes and may not draw a lot of attention at face value, but this could be an open and end-to-end game against both sides who struggle to defend. So with that being said, it probably sets itself up to be a goalless draw in all honesty, right? Well, to be honest, it wouldn't surprise me at all if that was the case. A draw is possibly on the cards here, which wouldn't help either side at all. But I personally think that the Hornets will finally get their first win of the season at the 12th time of asking, and that's why I'm going to predict a 2-1 Watford win for this game. The Blues take on the Eagles in our next game of focus as we're at Stamford Bridge for Saturday's lunchtime game. Chelsea are building up a real head of steam recently as Frank Lampard's side are currently on a 5-game winning streak in the Premier League, with their latest result being a 2-1 victory over Watford, whilst Palace haven't won in 3 games, with their latest result being a 2-0 defeat to Leicester. Will Chelsea make it 6 wins on the bounce here, or will Palace get back to winning ways in this game? Chelsea are currently flying high right now and are full of confidence, whilst Palace are enduring a tricky run of fixtures, but due to their good start to the season, it's sort of balancing itself out for Roy Hodgson's side. It's not going to be an easy game, this one, by any stretch. Palace are tough opposition for any side on their day, and the midday game on Saturday, for one reason or another, makes you constantly second guess your original opinion. But I really think the Blues will win this game. I'm going to predict a 3-1 Chelsea win, with Tammy Abraham continuing to accumulate more goals to his growing tally. Our next game takes us to a 2 o'clock Sunday game as Wolves host Aston Villa at Molineux. Wolves earned a point last time out as they drew 1-1 with Arsenal on Saturday, whilst Aston Villa were seconds away from getting a point from Liverpool before the Reds scored a last-gasp winner as Villa lost 2-1 last weekend. Will Wolves earn their 3rd victory of the season, or will Villa get back to winning ways in this game? It's going to be an intriguing West Midlands derby, this one. Wolves have been notorious for the amount of draws they've accumulated this season, whilst Villa have been a decent side to watch, a tough nut to crack at times, and may have been a little unfortunate not to have accumulated more points this season than they already have. This has all the makings of an open and entertaining derby game, and my prediction is yet another draw for the Wanderers here. I can see this game going any which way in all honesty, so I'm going to call it right down the middle, and I'm going to say a 2-2 draw with Raul Jimenez and John McGinn both scoring for their respective clubs. Our next game sees 2 teams whose managers are under pressure as they clash at St Mary's as Southampton host Everton in one of the 4 3 o'clock games on Saturday. The Saints are currently on a 7-game losing streak in the league, with their latest result being a spirited but still losing display against Manchester City, in which they lost 2-1, whilst Everton needed a late Cenk Tosun goal to earn them a point against Tottenham. Will the Saints get back to winning ways here, or will the Toffees ease the pressure on Marco Silva a little by getting the 3 points in this game? It's a big game for both sides. With the international break looming, it's entirely possible that a bad result here could spell the end for one of these 2 managers. Everton's away form has been poor for a while now, and that could be something that the Saints take advantage of. But on the flip side, conceding plenty of goals, most of the time through shooting themselves in the foot, has also been Southampton's downfall this season as well. My prediction for this game is that Everton will win. I can see Southampton possibly getting a point from this game, but I'm going to stick with an Everton win, and I'm going to predict that the Toffees come out as 1-0 winners in this game. Our next fixture of focus sees an intriguing game lying stall at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium when Sheffield United travel to London to take on Spurs in another 3 o'clock game on Saturday. Last time out, a late equaliser thwarted Tottenham from getting back to winning ways in the Premier League as they drew 1-1 with Everton, while Sheffield United picked up a 3-0 victory over Burnley, and the high-flying Blades now find themselves in 6th place. Will Spurs get back to winning ways here and ease the pressure on Mauricio Pochettino, or will the Blades continue their rather surprising and incredible season with a win here? All in all, this should be yet another exciting and intriguing game in store. You've got the inconsistent Tottenham, who seem to have problems behind the scenes which are affecting performances on the pitch, and then you have Sheffield United, who have surprised many by being so good this season at both ends of the pitch, so much so they're up to 6th in the table. It's just a question of whether or not that form will continue, but for this game, my prediction is that I think Spurs will struggle to break down a strong and resolute defence, and they could very well end up nicking this game, I know, but my gut instinct is telling me that this will be a draw. I'm going to predict a 1-1 draw for this game. And from one 3 o'clock game to another, we travel up north to Newcastle for our next game, where St James's Park plays host to Newcastle versus Bournemouth. Both sides picked up wins last time out as the Magpies beat West Ham 3-2 last weekend, whilst Bournemouth beat Manchester United 1-0 thanks to a Josh King goal. Which side will make it back-to-back wins here? Simply put, Newcastle blew West Ham away last week for a large part of the game before lacking the composure and concentration to securely see the game out. And it invited the Hammers back into the game, and although they managed to get away with it, it sort of summed up the inconsistency that the Magpies do possess. As for Bournemouth, they've been very good this season, but like usual, the occasional inconsistent patch and that kind of factor is still apparent within their game. But they have a really good chance here to earn another 3 points by winning this fixture. I'm going to predict a 2-1 Cherries win with Callum Wilson back among the goals for Eddie Howe's side. Our penultimate game in this round of fixtures this week sees Manchester United host Brighton at Old Trafford. United suffered a bit of a reality check last time out in their last game following a string of decent results. They went on to lose 1-0 to Bournemouth on Saturday, whilst Brighton were victorious last time out, picking up their 4th win of the season against Norwich, defeating the Canaries 2-0 at the Amex Stadium. Will United bounce back from last week's defeat here, or will Brighton make it back-to-back wins in this game? It's a big game for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and United this one. A poor result here, and if other results don't go their way, they could slip further down the table. The only caveat to this is that, of course, the league this season so far has been so tight that a win in their following game could see them shoot right back up the table, so all is not completely lost. As for Brighton, an inconsistent start to the season, and they've had some joy against United in the past, and they could be in for another good result here if the performance is up to scratch. For this game though, I do think that Brighton could possibly earn a point from this game, but my gut instinct is telling me that United will just about edge this one. I honestly think that United will just nick this one, winning 2-1 in this game with Anthony Martial scoring at least one of the goals. And finally, we're at Turf Moor for another 3 o'clock Saturday game as Burnley entertain West Ham. Both sides suffered defeats last time out, with Burnley losing 3-0 to Sheffield United, whilst the Hammers lost 3-2 to Newcastle. Which side will get back to winning ways in this game? Burnley's inconsistent season continues, whilst the wheels have sort of fallen off West Ham's campaign after quite a positive and bright start. But with no win in their last 5 games, it means that Manuel Pellegrini's side have slid right down the table in recent weeks. The inconsistency on show means that this game could seriously go any which way and is very difficult to call. Burnley on their day can be very tough opposition for anyone, whilst West Ham possess the quality but are frustrating in the way that they're very hot and cold. My prediction for this game is that it will end 2-2. Like I mentioned, this game could seriously go any which way, but I'm going to call it right down the middle and say that come the final whistle, it will end as Desmond. And that wraps up this Premier League preview show for Game 12 of the 2019-2020 season. Guys, if you have any thoughts, comments or predictions of your own on any of the round's fixtures, I'd love to read them in the comments section below. Otherwise, hit that like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Both things will be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch the Football Observer. This has been another Premier League preview show, and I will see and speak with you all again soon in another video.